Hi.
Oi, so they give access to their job portal, Geeks for free?
Yes, complimentary with the course.
And you got your job through that?
Me and 15,000 others across the world.
No way!
Oh, yes, Wiz. Don't delay. Enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. I am so happy to be taking today's live mock DSA. Before I add the mentor and the student, just let me confirm in the comment section if I'm perfectly visible and audible as well, so that I'll quickly add both of them to the stream. Just give me a thumbs up in the comment section if I'm perfectly audible and visible to all of you. Yeah. Cool. I can see a lot of thumbs up. Cool, cool. I'm perfectly audible. So I'll quickly add Yash and Shivang to the stream. Hi, Yash. Hi, Shivang.
Hi everyone.
Hi Muskan, how are you?
I am good. I am good. How are you guys doing?
I'm also fine.
Fine.
So, Shivang, are you nervous or something?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay,
Yes.
so I wish you all the best to both of you and to the audience as well. I hope you enjoy watching this and learn a lot of new things after this mock. Okay, so now I'll take leave and you guys can continue from here.
Sure. Shivang, can you just introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Hello, I am Swang Parma. I am pursuing BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from Budelkhan Institute of Engineering and Technology, Jhansi. I am currently in my 8th semester and my aggregate CGPA till 6th semester is 7.1. I belong to Jhansi, Uttar Pradesh. My personality traits are self-driven, quick learner, and being creative. I have done 2 paid internships in Android developer role, and I have done several projects and freelancing on Android development. I have also published some apps on Play Store, and one of them is QR scanner and generator app, which has 50 plus downloads so far. My primary skills are Java, Kotlin, Android development, and SQLite. Thank you.
Okay. So, as you know, this will be a mock interview, DSA mock interview. So, I'll be asking you questions based on DSA. I'll be asking you two questions primarily based on DSA, and we'll be having
Okay, sir.
45 minutes to 1 hour based on those. And like before starting this interview, I would like to tell you that whatever you are thinking, just think it out loud. Like whenever we go in an interview, so this is an advice for everyone who is watching as well, that whenever you are in an interview, so the primary thing that you should focus is that you should communicate with the interviewer well, right? It is not that you should just solve problem or something like that. It is that you
Okay.
should convey your message, your thought process to the interviewer, so that he or she can evaluate whether you are a good problem solver or not. So I've should just share in the private chat. I have shared this Google Doc link with you. Can you just open it
Yeah, sure.
and share your screen as well at the same time?
Okay.
And till then he's just opening the Google Doc, so all of you can just consider to give a thumbs up to this live stream, to this DSA mock interview. I hope that you have watched other DSA mock interviews that have been taken by me and others. So all of you can just consider to give a thumbs up to the video, so that we can have a head start for this particular session. Also, let me know in this session how much excited you are about the session. You can also all the audience can give a +1. The format will be like, I'll be asking him the questions, and you can see the question in the banner. Like you can just scroll up, for the first question.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
okay, right. So let me read the first question for you. So the first question says that you will be given an array. In the first question, you will be given an array of integers, which is of size n, and you have to return the minimum number of moves that are required to make all the elements of the array equal, right? In this question, what will happen? I'll be giving you an array, and ultimately the target is to make all the elements of the array equal. So the array size will be n,
Okay.
and how you can do it? You have to calculate the minimum number of moves in which you will be making all the elements of the array equal. In one move, what you can do is you can choose n minus one elements. So except one element in one move, except one element, you can choose n minus one other elements and increment with them by one. What do I mean by that? So let's say if I have 1, 2, 3 initially, right? If I have 1, 2, and 3,
Okay.
so what I can do is maybe I can in the first step, what I can do is in the first move, in the very first move, what I can do is if I have 1, 2, 3, then what I can do is I can say that okay, the element which is having value 3, I will not increment it, and rest of the n minus 1 elements, that is 2 elements, I'll be incrementing them. So I'll increment 2, 1 with 1 value, so it will get 2, and 2 will be incremented, so it will become 3. Then the last element will remain 3, like it is, as it is. Did you understand the first move?
Yes, sir.
Right. In one move, I'll be incrementing n minus 1 people, right? N minus 1 elements. So basically, I incremented two elements, like this element and this element. First and the second element, I incremented by 1.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the next move, what I could do is in the next move, I'll increment. Maybe I can say that okay, I'll not increment the last element once again. So one element I will not increment. All the rest of the elements I'll be incrementing. So I'll increment the first and the second element maybe once again. So I can do what? This week element would become 3, and the second element would become 4. Then the last element is what? Last element is still 3, right? So you can see that this is the current state of the array. After this, what I can do is always I'll be in the another move, I'll be incrementing only n minus 1 elements by 1, and the rest of the elements I'll keep the same. So one element I'll keep the same, rest of the elements I'll increment them by 1. So what I can do is with this 3, what I can do is I can make the first and the last elements, this element 3 and this element 3,
Yeah.
I can increment them by 1. So what will happen? Basically n minus 1 elements, that is 2. So I increment them by 1. So this is 4. Then the second element will remain the same because I'm not changing it, and the last element would increment by 1, so it will become 4. So ultimately, you can see that in three moves, basically, in 3 moves, I am able to get this particular array, right? Is the approach, explanation, everything clear to you?
Yeah, obviously, sir.
Yes. Right. So now let's take this case when you have 1, 1, 1, when you have 1, 1, 1. So what you can do for this
Yes,
case is you can already see that all the elements of the array are equal. Since all the elements are already equal, so that's why you'll take 0 moves, right? So is the problem statement
Yeah.
clear to everyone? Okay. So you can think of the approach. You can start telling me about your approach. Basically, in this approach, what you'll be doing is you will be thinking out loud. Whatever you'll be thinking, you can just keep on communicating that. And in the audience, I also want to know, you can just, in the audience, everyone can give me a quick +1 in the chat if all of you have understood this question. This question is a very important one because it has been previously asked in Amazon, Adobe, and Microsoft. So in the audience, if audience has understood this particular question, like I can see a lot of people, so all of them can just give us a +1 in the chat so that I know that, okay, you have also understood the question, right? And Shivank, you can continue with the question.
Yeah, sure, sir. So, sir, the
Or if you
basic
can just
approach
give
will
a
be
yes.
yes, sir. By saying this question and your wonderful explanation. So, as the question stated that we have to just in the each move we have to just increment n minus 1 element. So, if we have to just increase the element, so we will be increasing only the which element n minus 1 elements which are lesser than when the remaining one. So, in the first move, as you said that there's the element 1, 2, and 3. So if we in such case if we try to increase the 3, so there won't be any advantage for increasing 3 because as the 3 is the largest of 1, 2, and 3, so our basic approach will be increasing 1 and 2 only. So in each move we will be leaving only the number that is greater than remaining one. So as we can see then the 2, 3, 3, so we are just leaving that the greatest number 3, and in that way we can just make our array equal with the minimum number of moves.
So you are saying that the approach that you are telling me is like you
Yes,
will
sir.
be doing what the question has stated. Like you will be in every move you will be incrementing n minus 1 elements by 1, and the one element that you will not be incrementing, you are saying that it will be what? The one element that you
The
will not
maximum,
increment, what? It will be the
the
maximum,
maximum
right?
of the
And what if there are
maximum of
several
the array.
maximum elements in that case?
In that case, we will be just picking up anyone because we have to just leave only one element. So there is no use
Okay.
to count all of them.
So as the question stated, like in one move, you have to increment n minus 1 elements by 1. So you have chosen that, okay, the n minus 1 elements would be the smallest elements, right? The smaller elements,
Yeah,
the relatively smaller
yeah,
elements, and the largest element
yeah,
which is there. If there are several, then you can choose any. So the largest element, you will not be making a change to it, right?
yeah.
So
Or
that's
we
perfect.
can,
But
yes.
yes.
Shall I write the code?
No. First of all, tell me what is, you can just scroll up for the question
Yeah,
so that the question is visible to everyone. Now, let me know,
yeah,
like, what
yes,
will
sir.
be the time complexity of that approach that you have thought?
Yeah. So the basic one will be first of all in the each move we will just sorting the array, and then we will just picking up the n minus 1 element from 0 to n minus 2, and we are just leaving the n minus 1 element because that will be the highest one. So for that, we have to use the for loop, and in each for loop, we have to just sort the array. So it will be the sorting will be obviously taking n log n time. So overall, the time complexity will be n log n. Or in spite of this,
Are you sure it will
we
be
can
n log n?
just yes, sir. Because we are just running the for loop, and inside it we are just sorting it.
You're sorting it every time, right? For every
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it will be yes, sir. So it will be going to that n into n log n time. So
Also,
that will
one
be
more thing I'll
quite
like to
high.
tell the audience that
Yeah.
in the comments you can keep on interacting while he's solving the problem. So you can keep on interacting. You can keep on. You can also tell me about your approach. I'll be looking into that, and also you can hit the like button. Right? I can see the number of people watching are more, and the likes are less. So you can consider to like this video as well. Right? Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So, like, do you think it will really be n log n? Because if you sort it
No,
one time, then it's n log n. But
it's
you are
log n,
saying
but
that
we
you will
have to
be
just sort it each move.
okay. So how do you think? How much time will it take?
Because the outer for loop will be taking big of n, and as we are sorting it again and again, so that will be n log n. So it will be multiplication of both of them.
You're saying n square
Because
log n.
yes, sir.
But do you think that there will be just n moves? In just n moves, you will be able to make this array equal?
Because we are iterating it 4, if it is was 5, so then 4 4 5, so in that case we have to just make it 5. Yes, sir. Not n move, we have to just take more than n moves also.
So
In
how
that
can we
case,
optimize this?
yeah, sure, sir. For optimization, by using the sorting notebook, so we can use hashing. So we can just store the number of counts and then the difference. 1 2 3, there are 1 1 2.
While he's thinking, while
No,
Shivank is thinking, everyone in the audience, like think of it
2 is
as
1,
an interview, as an
3
opportunity when you're seeing a new question. So try to write
3
your
is
approach
1,
in the comments. I'll be looking at it once he has solved this particular question, right? And also make sure to
3.
hit the like button because like this, I have a interesting problem set
See the
today. This
difference.
one and next one. So I have also
2
mentioned
is
which companies
3,
this problem has been asked in. So all of you can just consider to hit the like button.
2 3.
You can whatever you're thinking, Shivank, you can just think
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah, so the another approach could be just like that. If we just pick up the greatest element in the first iteration, and we can just compare with remaining element that their difference, like in this case, that the highest number is the 3, and if we just compare with 3 minus 1, so this 2, and 2 minus 3, it's 1. So for making 1 equals to 3, we have to just increment it by 2 because it's their difference is 2. And for making 2 equals to 3, so for that we have to just increment it by 1. So there will be two steps required for making it 2 3, and but in that case it will be also increasing. Yeah, we have to increase all of them by in a one go.
So can I say for this particular problem, can I say that the problem, first of all, let's recall the problem statement. The problem statement is telling us
Yes, sir.
that in one move, guys, I can see 100 plus people are watching. So please consider to hit the like button, right? And give us a +1 in the chat if you have understood the question, and you can keep on telling, discussing the approach in the comments. We'll be looking into it. Now, the thing is, please consider to hit the like button. Now, in this particular question, if I say that, okay, in this particular question, the thing is that in one move, you can increment n minus 1 people, right? N minus 1
Yes,
numbers.
sir.
And one number you will not be incrementing. So if you will do it that way, so the time complexity is very much. Can we do something? Can we think of an approach where the number of moves that we are doing or the number of operations that we are doing can get reduced? And you were telling me about something, so you can like you were thinking of some optimization, so you can let me know.
Yes, sir. So the one optimization that I came to that we can just get the difference of that. First of all, we will just getting the highest number. Then we are just subtracting with the n minus 1, and in that case, we will just get to know how many times we have to increase that number. So it will be equal to that highest one. So for that time, we will be just increasing all of them, then again we will just checking for the highest number and then checking the difference and increasing it. So I think there will be some optimization.
How will you do this?
By picking up the, let's say in the first step, the third is the greatest number. So 3 minus 1 is 2 and 3 minus 2 is 1. So the maximum one is, the maximum difference that comes is 2. So we will just increasing it by 2 steps. So 1 plus 2 will be 3, 2 plus 3 will be 4. And now the array will be becoming this one. So in that case, we will just take the 2 steps. So now in that case, there is a 4 greatest number and we will just uh, finding out the difference with the remaining n minus 1. So 4 minus 3 with this one will be 1 and 4 minus 3 will be this be 1 and we will just increasing it all the elements by 1. So it will be equals to 4. So in that case we have to just we are just if we can also say we are skipping some of the steps also, because in increasing it by 1 we will just directly increase it by 2 steps.
Okay.
Because
So
the
you are saying that
maximum
you'll be
difference
skipping some of these steps, right?
Yes, sir.
But do you think that it will be optimal, and how will you do this?
By finding the difference, and the maximum difference with the n minus 1 times will be the steps that we have to currently take to make all elements equals to or greater than that the maximum one.
Okay. Do you think it will be optimal for us to do? Guys, I can see 117 people are watching, so all of you can just hit the like button. This is a question that has been asked on Amazon, Adobe, and Microsoft. So all of you can just hit the like button and discuss your approaches in the comments. Like, Shivang, do you think that it can be done that way?
Yeah, but it won't be big of n, but there's must there will be some optimization to the previous one solution.
So how do you think that you can optimize it further?
For optimization, because in every step we have to just leave one element and to increase all of them. So the one element that will be left obviously will be the maximum one, and for finding it we have to just keep on iterating. So there will be some another approach for finding the difference and just getting it. If I just try to sum of them, 3 to 5 7 7 and 4 4 4 3 4 3 4 3 4 3 7 10 12. If
Can
making
you
it
think?
for
Can you think of some optimization whereby in this question, what you have to do is one move, what you are doing. Let's calculate where the cost is coming higher, right? In this particular
Yes,
question,
sir.
in one move, you will be incrementing n minus 1 elements by 1, right? You will
Yes,
increment
sir.
n minus 1 elements by 1 in one move, right? So
Yes, sir.
this is something that you are doing. And in the approach, you are telling that, okay, in every time you will find the maximum element, something like that. So it will take, in the best case, if you use sorting, it will take n log n time every time to find the highest
Yeah,
element. But even if you do it iteratively, so it will take order of n time in the worst
big
case if
off
you are
and
finding maximum every time, right? So
yes,
can you think of an optimization? Like, there are several layers to this question. In this particular question, I can see 142 people are watching. Please consider to hit the like button, everyone. Okay. Right. Now, in this particular question, the challenge that lies ahead of you is, like, in one move, you are incrementing n minus 1 people, and you are also thinking of calculating the highest number every time and things like that. So
yeah,
how
yeah.
can,
That's the
how can we
complexity.
how can we try to optimize it further?
Yeah, I'm sir just looking for it.
Can you think of, like, in terms of optimizations, can you think like which are the ways with which we can bypass the array? And also let me know, what is the initial target of the question? What is the question saying? What is the
We have to
target?
just
What is the
yeah
question want to?
make all of the elements equal. So I'm thinking of the another approach that as we have to just make all of the elements equal. So if we just pick the highest element and as there are three elements, so if let's say three is the after getting the solution, if we are getting 3 times 3, so their sum should be the sum would be 3 times 3, that is 9. So we can just calculate the current sum, and as we are assuming that all in the final array we will be getting 3 times, so then we can just calculate the difference in such way we can just try, because
Uh,
3 4 3.
can you just summarize it? Like, what have you thought? I was not clear with your approach.
No, sir, that's wrong, because we can't use, because inside element, if we try to use hash map, something like that, to get the count, get the difference. No, I think, sir, there is some mathematical approach to this by using some kind of summation and multiplication.
Let me know. First of all, let's decompose this question. What you want in the end? Just let me know that. One single statement. What do you want in the end for this problem? What type of array do you want at the end?
All elements equal.
You want all the elements to be equal. So what
Yes,
are
sir.
you doing in one? You are trying to increment n minus 1 elements every time by 1 to make them equal to the highest element, right? You are trying to approach in such a way such that you are thinking that, okay, every time there is the highest element, and all the rest of the n minus 1's relatively smaller elements are trying to catch up, right? Are trying to increment themselves by
Yeah.
1 so that they can come close to the larger number, right? That's something that you are trying to do. Ultimately, what you
Yes,
are
sir.
trying to do is you are trying to do it in such a way such that in the end the array becomes equal, right? So in one time, in one move, you are incrementing n minus 1 elements. So I'm emphasizing on this. I'm giving you this hint. Can we try to optimize this thing? Instead of doing this, can we do something else? You
If we can,
what you said was, I'll correct you.
yes, sir.
What you said was that in this particular question, what you said was that, okay, there can be some mathematical approach, right? But believe me,
Yes, sir.
it's a very simple greedy problem. Try to think in that manner. Try to think how we can optimize in one move, changing n minus 1 elements, right? Incrementing n minus 1 elements to make them one step closer to the larger element. That is what you are trying to do in this particular question. I think everyone
Yes.
else is also thinking in the same way, right? But can we do something
Yes.
better than that? Can we do something alternative of that? Ultimately, we want all the elements of the array to be equal.
Equal. So if we just go with that, 3 1 and 2, difference is 1 2 3, difference 1. For incrementing it, we will just take it one step for this. Ultimately, there
Whatever
are
you're thinking, just
4.
think out loud. Don't keep it to yourself.
E-
When
Yes,
just keep it out loud.
yeah. So at the last, there are 4 equals. So if we just find out that in the last 4 will be coming, so the difference will be find out from this one only. 3 plus 1, 2 2 times, and 1 3 times. The minimum element is taking 3 steps for becoming the 4. So ultimately there are 3 steps. But while picking up recursively, if we just pick 3 or anyone, let's say we are taking 1 and 2 and leaving 3, so there will be an or we are just uh, call recursively for everyone, 1 2 and 3, and we are getting solution for it. Or we can we can try something like that, but there won't be optimization, while as we have to leave only one element, so we can just assume that we are leaving one, and we are just calling the previous function with 2 and 3, and in some case we are leaving 2
So
and
you are
calling
you
the
are
function
thinking that
for.
you will be doing recursively.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you thinking in direction of dynamic programming or something like that?
uh, Not sure. 1 and 3.
Okay. I'll give you a hint
Yeah,
again. I'll recall this question.
yeah.
Let's come back to the basics. Let's come back to the problem statement. In this
Okay,
problem,
sir.
what you have to do is the end target of this problem. It's not asking you to return the array. It's asking you to count the minimum number of steps that you will take to make all the elements of the array equal. Right. In one move, you can increment n minus one elements. Except one element, you can increment n minus one elements by one, so that they come closer to the larger element. Like, that is something that you were saying. Can we try, like,
Yeah,
this is very much cost, like this is costing us a lot,
yeah.
right? This, but
Obviously, sir.
what is the thing that's the thing with this question is, if you will try, we up till now we have seen that if you will try to do it in the way that's being stated in this question, then in that case you will have a lot of time complexity, because incrementing n minus 1 elements, n minus 1 people by 1 to come closer to the larger element, it's taking a lot of cost, right? So that means order of n cost for the incrementation part every time, right?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So can you think is there some way that we can bypass this thing, incrementing n minus 1 elements by 1? Can we do something else? And in the audience, many people are asking who like if they want to give the mock interview. So I think there will be a form in the description of this video, so you can consider to fill it, and you will be called for the mock interview.
1 and 2. Minimum moves, so as we have to require minimum.
Some people are suggesting that we sort in each move, then the time complexity would be n square log n. So Rajat is saying that. So
No,
how
sir.
will you, Rajat? How will you then? In that case, you have to optimize it further, right?
Array equal.
You have to do this in order of n.
Yeah, that's the biggest part.
Like how will you do it in order of n? Guys, please hit the like button if you see that this question is good, because it's asked in all the good companies, Amazon, Adobe, and Microsoft.
If we are just
Okay, some people are asking for one more hint. I'll give you, but let's help. First of all, let's see whether Shivang can think of it or not. Shivang, just focus on this thing. Everyone, please
sir.
give me a +1 in the chat. Everyone in the chat who is watching this interview as well, just give me a quick +1 in the chat if you also think that the challenge here is that you have n minus 1 every time you in each step in one move. What you have to do is you have to increment n minus 1 elements by 1, right? So that is increasing the time complexity by order of n in every step, right? Please give me a quick +1 in the chat if you agree with this, that this is the part of this question. Like in every move you have to increment each element by 1, right? Like n minus 1 elements by 1. So that is the thing that is costing us a lot. Please give me a +1 in the chat if you think that this is the part that's increasing our time complexity, and hit the like button, and let me know how we can deal with it.
So, as coming to the previous approach, we can just, as we are thinking of the mathematical, so we can just find the sum of the array, that the first one, that's the 3, 2, 1, and after finding the sum, if again we have to just find the smallest element. So finding the smallest element, we can just use the another for loop, and then we can just subtract with the sum. Yeah, 3 2 plus 1 6, 3 2 5 6 6, and then the smallest element is 1, so 1 minus 5 and into.
Okay, what's the target of this question? I'll come back to this again. Let's focus on the problem statement. Let's not get carried away by such a question, right? Ultimately, this question is greedy. What is the greedy thing about there? Lalit, we will add the form in the description of this video after it's over. I don't know why it's not there, right? So what we have to do in this particular question, what we have to do is we have to make all the elements of the array equal, right? That's what we have to do. Like,
Yes, sir.
can you think like what are you doing in each step? You are n minus 1 elements which you are thinking are relatively smaller. You are making them increment by 1, and you are getting them close to the largest element, right? That is something that you are doing. Can you think of an alternate approach? Ultimately, you have to get the array equal. Can you think of this approach? Can you just think of reversing this approach, alternating this approach instead of doing this? Anything else that you can do? Ultimately, you have to get you. I don't want the final array from you, right? I don't want that. I want
Yes,
all the
sir.
elements to be equal. How can I do this?
Yes, we don't have to print 444.
Just you don't have to do that. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
interesting point
Yes,
of
sir.
this question.
Yes, sir. Now, yeah. So yeah, so the I came to the approach that we can just do one thing, that we can just find the initial sum, that in this case will be 3 2 plus 5 6. Then we can just subtract the final sum with the minimum element. Yeah, in that case we
The
will
thing
be
is
just
that
getting.
you are telling me, maybe you will tell me the final answer, right? But that is not something I'm asking. I'm asking what is the approach? I'm not asking to do sum minus this, that. I'm not asking that. I'm asking you that what is the approach behind it? What's the reason behind it? You're telling in terms of mathematics, right? You are telling that
Yes, sir.
okay, highest element minus something or something. That's perfectly fine. But what is the approach behind them? What is the logic behind it?
Yeah, so sir, the logic is that if we just 3 2 5 6 4 4 4 4 3 to 12 and 3 to 5 6 and 6 minus 6 and 12, 6 minus and into 3, 3 into 1, 6 minus 1, 6 minus 1, so it will be obviously 3. So the smallest element in each case to be increased. The smallest element is increasing every time. So element above that element will be also increasing. Operation making with the
I'll
smallest
emphasize
element.
on this. Again, like incrementing n minus 1 people, ultimately you want all the elements to become equal, right? That is something that you want. What you're doing is in one step, you are thinking that okay, there is one highest element, and all the n minus 1 element, smaller element, you are thinking that okay, you'll be incrementing them by 1, right? So that they get one step closer to the larger element, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
can you think
So
of
that,
alternative way? Can you think of the reverse way? Just opposite of
yeah,
it.
sir. Yes, sir. I just tell that on only that that was the brute force that will be taking a lot of time. So I came up to the new approach that we can just calculate the sum and we can just find the minimum element and we can just subtract the sum with the minimum element into how many numbers are there, because as we are just getting that sum is 3 to 5 6, and in the outermost array we are just it's 12, yeah, obviously. So if we are getting that 6, so if we are having that sum equals to 6, and if we are just have to make all the elements equals to, so in every case we have to increase 1. In every case we are going to increase 1. So why don't to so we have to just ultimately find how many times we have to increase 1 so it can totally become to that particular array that is here is 4 and 4
What I'm
and 3.
saying is
So we don't have to.
in one move, what you're doing is you are incrementing n minus 1 elements. In one move, n
No,
minus
no,
1
no, no,
elements
sir.
are getting incremented by 1, right?
Yeah,
Can
that
you
was the
think of the
previous one.
opposite? Yes.
Yeah, I am just getting that the minimum operation only, for which we will be just using a single for loop, and that case I will just calculating the
I'm asking
smallest
you the
element.
logic behind that. Whatever you are thinking, you are telling me some mathematical approach, right? But what is
Yes,
the
sir.
logical what is the logical reason behind it? Is there some reason
So
behind it that you are doing it?
yes, sir. So the reason is basically that. So as we have to just make the array elements, all the elements equals to. So in every move, we will be increasing the smallest element. So while increasing the smallest element, so we can just find out that the how many times we have to increase the one in this one to make it equals to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, as we don't have to find it. Ultimately, it will be 4 or 5 or 6. It can be anything, but we
I'll tell
can.
you one thing.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
Uh, just let me know if my changes would be visible or not. This is the original array, right? 1 2 3, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you have 1 2 3, right? You have this array. What you have to do is in one step, every time what you're doing is you are basically the rationale behind this question is you are thinking that okay, you have smaller elements and you are trying to come closer to the largest element, right? By incrementing the n minus 1 smaller elements one by one. But we can think of it as we don't have to return the final array in the end, right? So that's what is the trick behind this question. That is not trick, but that is one observation. That is taking a lot of cost. Incrementing n minus 1 small elements to get them
Yeah.
incremented by 1, each element incremented by 1 so that they come closer to the larger element. That is taking some time. But instead of doing that, we can do the reverse. What we can do is we can think of it alternative way. What you are saying is you have one larger element that you are considering, right? One relatively larger element, and rest of the n minus elements, one elements, you are considering them as small. So what you can do is you are what you are making the smaller elements get one step closer, n minus 1 smaller elements get one step closer to the larger element, right? instead of doing that, what if I think in this manner? What if I say that you can change the larger element, you can decrement the larger element by 1? Does that make sense? That if you
Yeah, obviously,
if you
obviously, sir.
if you decrease the you have n minus 1 people, right, and you have one larger element. If you increase n minus 1 people by 1, so they will come one step closer to the larger element, right? But that will take n minus 1 time, because every element is getting incremented by 1. Instead of doing that, if I think of it alternatively, if I would think of it in the reverse manner, that what I can do is I can see that, okay, the larger elements there, n minus 1 smaller elements getting closer to the larger element is costing me a lot, and I just want to neutral things to get closer, right? I want the elements to get closer. So I can also do
Yeah.
the larger element can decrement by one step, one value, and it will come one step closer to the all the other n minus 1 values, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me now? I have given you the biggest hint in this question that I could give. So can you tell me like what you are thinking now? Also, guys, you can just hit a +1 in the chat if you have understood the thought process that I've told behind decrementing the largest value by 1 instead of incrementing all the n minus 1 values by 1, so that we can space order of n, save order of n time complexity. Right? You can just hit a +1 in the chat if you have understood this, and also hit the like button. Right? Yes. Go ahead, Shivang.
So by getting a hint, so if you have to just decrease all the elements, so it will be obviously to find out the element that is maxima in array, we have to just take a for loop for accessing all the elements, and inside it we have to just find the maximum element, and then we have to decrease it. So I don't think so that it will be can be done in big O of n.
I have
But
told you
your
the
yeah
biggest hint I have given you. So
yeah
you
yeah
don't
but
think that it
yeah
can be done this way?
but I
Now
totally
let me know
understand.
if now let me know which is the can you tell me like what will be the final value of all the elements if you decrease the largest element by 1? Now in that case, like in every move, instead of incrementing n minus 1 elements by 1, you are decreasing the largest element by 1. So in that case, what
Yeah.
will be the time complexity? Like, can we say that we have eliminated order of n time of incrementing the n minus 1 elements, right? Can you
Yes,
tell me
sir.
what will be the value of the final? All the elements will be same. When all the elements will be same, then what will be the value of that particular element? What will be that particular value?
So in the first iteration, it become 1, 2, and 2, and in the second case, it will be 1, 2, 1.
Can you just write it? Can you just write it for us so that we can get
Yeah,
more
yeah,
clarity on this?
yeah, yeah. Obviously. Sir. So 1, 2, 2,
So basically, in
then
this case, what you did was you did the opposite, right? You took one move, you
yeah,
did take one move, but in this move, what you did was you decremented the largest value by 1. Instead of making n minus 1 elements, incrementing them by 1, each element by 1. Instead of doing that, that would take order of n time more. So that's why what you did was you thought of using the constant time, and you decremented the largest value by 1, right? That's what you did. So 1, 2, 2 is the array. Now what will happen?
again it will become 1, 2, 1.
Okay, so right. So can you tell me what will be the final? All the elements will look like. What will be that final value?
After this, it will become 111, and
Okay.
then if you have to still pick a greater element, then
Why
it
will
will
you
become
pick it again? If all the elements are equal, you have to find the
yeah,
minimum element,
yeah,
minimum
yeah.
steps,
That's
right?
right.
So what is the thought process behind it? Is there? Can you observe something from this array? What is the minimum? What is the final value of all the elements? 1, right?
Minimum is 1. Yeah,
What is the final value of all the elements? It's 1, right? It's 1.
yeah.
So that is why all the elements that I have, whichever is the smallest element, that will be the final value of the array if I am doing it this way, right? Now, can you tell me why I am taking this much number of steps for this particular question? 3 steps. Can you just summarize that for me?
Yeah. So
Because I have
as
to
I
change every
told,
element to 1 now, right?
yeah, as I told previously that if we are having 1, 2, and 3, so we have to just increase the smallest number 1 to make the all the elements equal. So as in the same case, we are getting 1 only. So that was the mathematical formula or the approach that I told. That in that case, we
But
will
you
just
did not tell me the reason
calculating.
behind it.
Yeah. Because I have faced such a scenario before, so I was not able to recognize that correctly. but I have used that some of the in the question before. So in that case, we have to just find the minimum element. And you told me that yeah, obviously that the biggest element we will just decreasing it by one by decreasing by one. So here it is one. So now we will just get the minimum element, that the one will be the element which will be increasing in
So
each
I'll
step.
summarize this for the audience as well. Basically, what he's saying is you take out you take out the minimum element, where like you iterate through the array once, you pick the minimum element, and then what you do is you iterate through the array once again, and you
And
every time you have the element array of I, right? So whatever is the current element array of I, you subtract it with the minimum element, and you keep a cumulative sum. So sum plus is equal to array of I minus the minimum element, and you take a cumulative sum and you just return the sum.
yeah,
That will be the number of moves. Like in this case,
that will be the
the
minimum
minimum
number
element
of
is
step.
yes. Yeah, so the
Yes,
in
sir.
this case the minimum element is 1, so 1 minus 1 will give me 0, 2 minus 1 will give me 1, and 3 minus 1 will give me 2. So basically 1 plus 2 will give me 0 plus 1 plus 2, so that is 2 steps, 3 steps that I've taken total, right? So that's the minimum number of moves here, right?
Yes, sir.
Jannat will add the link after this session is over. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Can you just scroll down a little bit?
Obviously, sir.
Yes, is the question visible to you?
Yes, sir.
The second question, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'll
This
just
is
read it
this is
for you.
yes, sir.
Just frequency one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Frequency.
so in this question, what you have to do is you will be given a array, you will be given a non-empty array of non-negative integers, right? So all the integers in this particular array will be non-negative, so they will be positive, or you can say 0, right? So the degree of the array is defined as the maximum frequency of any of its element, right? What is the degree of an array? Like you must have seen in algebra, the degree of a polynomial is the highest degree that is at it has, right? So
Yes, sir.
similar to that, here what you have is the degree of an array is the frequency of the highest element, right? That is what the highest frequency that's occurring, that is the degree of an array here, right? So this is what
Highest
the
one.
frequency of an array is, the definition. Then what you have to do is your task is to find the smallest possible length of the contiguous array that has the same degree. You have to find a subarray in this particular array. You have to find a subarray
Okay,
which is
okay.
of smallest length and it has same degree as that of the original array that has been given to you, right? The
Yes, sir.
degree of an
Understood.
array is the frequency, is the highest frequency that occurs in an array, right? Let's suppose that there is some number of ones, some twos are occurring, some threes are occurring, right? And one is occurring fine number of times, and all the other elements are not occurring that much number of times. So the degree of that particular array would be 5, right? So if one is occurring 5 number of times, if which is the highest, so in that case what will happen is you have to find a subarray, you have to find the smallest subarray, you have to return the smallest subarray which will be having the same frequency as which will be having the same degree as that of the original array, that is 5. So like in this case, let me take this case for you. So if in this case, if we have 1 2 2 and 1 2 2 3 and 1, if you have this particular array, so in that case, can you observe that what is the degree of this particular
2.
array? If you have 1
2.
occurring 2 number of times, 2 occurring 2 number of
Yes, sir.
times, and 3 occurring 1
Yes,
number
sir.
of times, so in
Yes,
that
sir.
case I can very safely say that okay, 1 is occurring 2 times, 2 is occurring 2 times, and 3 is occurring 1 time. So I can say that okay, in this particular question I have to find first of all, I'll check all the subarrays, right? So one subarray could be this 1 2 1 2 2 3 and 1, right? What about this subarray? Can I say that this subarray is also having a degree as 2? Can I say this?
Yes, sir.
Right? But what if I eliminate this element, right? If I eliminate this one, this
Last one.
left one, and this right one, and this right 3 as well, right? So the array would look like this, 2 and 2. So in this case, what is happening? 2 is occurring 2 number of times. So the degree of this particular array, this particular subarray, the degree is 2 because it is contiguous, right? 2 and 2 are occurring continuously. So this is continuous. So in this case, what you have to do is you will be printing this particular subarray, right? Because it is the smallest subarray, and the output is 2. That's why the output is 2, because the length of that particular smallest subarray is 2,
Length.
right? Which is having the degree same as that of the original array. Have you understood this question? Audience can give me a quick
Yes, sir.
response in the chat if they have also understood this question.
2 2 and 1 2
Interview
3.
in the interview might ask you to return the subarray as well, but here I am asking him to just return the length so that I can keep
Yeah.
the question simple.
Yes, sir. So if we are just trying to see that, first of all we have to just take a for loop finding the
Okay, so can I say,
frequency.
will there be a maximum element or there can be several maximum elements? Shivang,
So what's the maximum element?
the degree will depend. The degree will depend on some elements, right? Some elements
Yes,
will
sir.
have an element will have the highest frequency, right? So will
Yes,
there
sir.
be only one element that can have a maximum frequency, or there can be other elements as well?
No, sir, because in first case only other elements also occurs. In the first case only in the input one, the one and one occurring two times and two is also occurring two times. So there are frequency of taking one is also two, and if we are considering two, so it's also two. But in
Okay.
this case 2 and 2 are continuous, so we are just taking this array. If the array was something like that, one and that's this one, and there will be three in between of two, so in that case we will be just considering 1 comma 1.
First of all, tell me the brute force approach. Like how will you check for all these? First of all, you will be able to find the degree of this array, right? I think you will be comfortable with finding the degree of
Yes,
this
sir.
array. That is the highest
Yes, sir.
frequency. You can keep a track of the highest frequency using a map or something, right? So
Yeah.
or a simple vector, that depends, right? So you can keep a track of the maximum frequency. Now in this question, let me know how will you check for all these how will you check for subarrays, right? Can you think of a brute force approach?
Yeah, so the first iterative for loop will be for finding the frequency of the array, and then we will just using two nested for loop. The one for the coming from the the I1 will be from the 0 to n minus 1, and inside it we will be using j, which will be increasing from I plus 1, that will be the elements after that one to the n minus 1. Then we'll just getting a array from I to j, and then we'll be just finding that frequency, and then we'll just considering it. If the length of this data is minimum, so then we'll be printing it. So it will be quite of a lot of taking a lot of time complexity.
So what you are saying is, what you'll do is you will generate all the subarrays.
Yeah, but in the brute force, that will be the basic approach for the to generate all subarray and then compare the length by finding the frequency
How will you find the length of each subarray?
by using the simple formula arrays dot length.
Which formula?
Arrays
Array
dot
dot length.
Yeah.
So every subarray you'll be storing into an array.
No. While finding it, we will just find its frequency, and if its frequency is less than or greater than the as we have to find the smallest one, now. Yeah. So if it is less than that the current frequency, so we will just finding its length. Otherwise, we will just going to the next subarray.
Okay.
As you have to find the smallest possible.
Some people are suggesting in the chat. So I think some people are suggesting correctly in the chat, but that's perfectly fine. I'll still give Shivang a chance to solve this particular problem. So Shivang, what do you think we can do to optimize it? One way to do it is thinking of so generate all the subarrays in order of n square time,
Yeah.
and you compare. You just once you have all the generated all the subarrays, so you
Then
just
find
count
the
the
frequency.
frequencies and things like that, right? So that's the
Yeah.
brute force way of doing it.
Yeah,
So
it's
generating all
brute
the subarrays and then checking which is the smallest strength. So that will take a lot of time. That will kill
Yeah,
a lot of
obviously,
time.
sir.
How can we do it
Yes,
better?
sir. For finding it, we can just check as we have to just find the continuous subarray.
So
we can
like
just
there's one guy that is suggesting, that is Aaron, I guess. So he's suggesting that find the maximum frequency element and find the, like he's saying that whatever is the element which is having the maximum frequency, you subtract its first occurrence and the last occurrence. But that will not be the case here, because there can be more than one element which is occurring
Yeah.
same, right? So that can be one of the challenges.
Obviously,
Yes,
sir.
go ahead.
So for that case, as we have to just find in the continuous manner, so we can just keep track of left and right subarray, something like that. So if we just check, the somehow that the one who commented that if we just create two array left
Guys, you
and
can
right.
just consider to hit the like button if you like the two questions that I've taken, and you can give me a +1 if you like the problem set that I've taken, right? And give a +1 and hit the like button. Like Shivank, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So if we just say that some element, just in that case, 2 is or any unique element that is occurring frequency f times. So if we have to find the sub array, so there can be other elements also, as you say. So as we have to find the shortest element, so we can just consider left and right sub array. We can just create two arrays, left and right, and while iterating the array, if we know to that the first occurrence of the left array, so we will be putting in that, and the first occurrence in the right, so we will be putting it, then we can just subtract it with the right of I minus left of I, so it will be giving it the particular distance for that element. So in that case, we can just do it.
So
Yeah,
you are
yes, sir.
suggesting to. Can you summarize what you
Using a
said?
space. Yeah, we are using
So
a space, so we are.
okay.
Yes, sir. I should carry on.
Yes, yes. Carry on with your approach.
Yeah. So we will just getting that for two arrays, left and right. So we will be iterating the whole array at once, and when we just get the occurrence of that element, the first occurrence, so we'll be storing in the left one, the first occurrence in the left, and the first occurrence in the right array, and then we can just subtract the right of I minus left of I, so we'll just getting that length, that how many elements are in between of that first occurrence of left and first last occurrence in the right one array. So it will be occurring that times only.
So you'll be using something like a hash map or something, and you are saying that maybe you can store all the elements which are having the highest frequency, something like that.
No, the first occurrence and the last occurrence. Then we can just subtract that one. So we will just getting there how many elements are between of them.
Of all the elements which are having the maximum frequency.
Yeah. No. We will be just checking for the only that element that are having frequency equal maximum frequency. In that case, we will be calculating for 1 and 2. Because first of all, we will iterating the array, so we will be just getting that the element 1 and 2 are having the
Can you
same
just
frequency.
quickly write the code for it? Can you just quickly write the code for it, since we are getting out of time?
Yeah, obviously.
Just move down a little bit and just start writing the code. You'll just be given the array in a function, right? So you can just make a function in which you'll be given an array, and you can write down the code in the respective language of your choice.
Okay, sir.
Can you just zoom in a little bit?
Is it fine?
Okay, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. No, you can just zoom out.
No, yeah, that was too much. Int a, yeah, that's what. So we will be just creating two array, left and right, or yeah. Left, and we have to just give the size, or we can just use left or right, so there will be some particular size. So left, let's say.
But you said you will be using a map or something like that, but you are using a left or right here.
Yes, sir. For frequency storing map, it will be okay, but as we have to just find for some only for some element, so it will be okay for.
So you in the left,
also.
you are thinking of storing the leftmost occurrence, and the right, you are thinking of storing the rightmost occurrence. Right?
Yeah, of that element that is having the highest frequency of all elements that are having highest frequency, because we know that.
And what will be the time complexity of your code?
For to just go for one iteration only, I think, because if we just consider this, so as we know that the frequency of element 2 is 2 and 1 is 2. Two answer for this. So the first one is this only, and the another one could be the whole, this one.
Okay.
So as you give, so these are the two possible answers that are having the frequency 2 and which are sub array. But in that case, we are having this array which has the minimum distance. So we have to just find out these. We have to just store the first occurrence of 2, last occurrence, and first occurrence of first and last, and we will just getting the difference.
Okay, so in this case, you are taking extra space, but you are able to do it in order of n time, right?
Yeah. We will just getting a one iteration only. So
okay.
Yeah. So let's say it's n, because it won't be maximum then. No, left one.
You can just like whenever you are giving an interview, just a small suggestion. So always, if you are thinking of like the left as left, so don't write L, like write F. Look, that will
Oh, oh, okay.
give you extra
Okay.
points whenever you are giving an interview. So whenever you are giving an interview, that is something that I want to tell everyone, that always try to name the variables in some order, in some according to some pattern. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the interviewer, and that will create a negative impact. And whenever the code base will be code will be large, whenever there will be a code in thousands and lakhs of lines, so in that case such variable naming will disturb a lot.
Yeah. Now I will just finding the frequency. So I less than I and I plus plus. I'm also considering it passing n, or we can just find out n.
So you're writing it in Java, right?
Yes. Okay. Then we will just check if left dot. We have to find first occurrence of that. No, first of all, we will just finding the frequency. Okay.
So some people are suggesting that we can use sliding window for, and maybe they are suggesting that we can do it in better space complexity, right? Okay,
Uh,
you can just keep on
yes,
writing
sir.
your code.
Okay, okay, sir. If it's not in the into, first of all, we have to find the frequency.
Guys, till the time Shivank is writing the code, so if you like this mock interview, so you can just consider to like this video and give a quick plus one in the chat, so that we can know like what do you expect from us, like what kind of problems do you expect us to bring. Did you like the problem set, both the problems that we brought in today, or would you like to would you like us to take more hard interviews, like more hard problems, right? You can just okay. So problem set is
Of
nice. So
one.
all of you can just give a feedback, right? A feedback helps us to bring the content according to that. I've tried to keep it as interview specific as possible, like whichever interviews I have given. So I've tried to bring in all the experience in previous interviews as well as in this mock interview. I've tried to bring that experience. So you can just give us a plus one and the like to the video. So this motivates us to bring more quality mock interviews for you guys.
If we have to find the frequency for each element occurring x times,
I think you are like this even if you are using a map, you're not using sliding window, two pointers, anything like that, still you are not
yeah,
able to implement it that
yeah,
frequently,
yeah.
right? You are still stuck
No, no.
by
I know. I am just thinking that how if we have to find the frequency, so we have to use two nested for loop. How could we do in first for loop? Because
you could have instead of using two for loops, you could have used it directly, right? You could have directly
hash map.
calculated the frequency of all those, right? If you are dependent on frequency,
No, no, we have to find the maximum frequency. So how could we do that in single for loop? Because we have to just check for how many times one is present and two is present.
initially you only said that you will be using a hash map.
Yeah, yeah. Hash map will be required. Integer, and then we're just putting all the element. Integer,
We are
okay.
running out of time, so you need to keep a track of that.
Okay, sir. So I'm just could write just something like that for
Okay,
amount of.
assume that you know, like assume that in your hash map you have already stored all the frequencies, right? After that, what
Yeah,
you'll do? You will find
yeah.
the
I will
maximum
find.
frequency. Assume that you have
Yeah.
also found the maximum frequency, right? After
Okay,
that,
okay,
what you will do?
okay, okay. Let's say maximum frequency is this. Okay, so this element is having maximum frequency. So now we have to just find. Okay, degree equals to answer. So now we'll be just going to the left one in the left array, and we will just check if left the first occurrence. So these both will be also hash map, because we have to just check if it is contains or not. Not currently
If you are
to
using
get
left
the.
and right, so I'm assuming in the left you are storing the leftmost occurrence, in the right you are storing the rightmost occurrence. In that case, the difference of that particular window will be left minus right plus one, right? Left of the current element minus the
Yeah.
right of the current element minus one, right?
Okay, so
And in
I'm
that case,
just.
you will not be iterating through all the n elements, right? Because not all n elements will have the highest frequency, right? There will be some elements which will have the highest frequency, so you can keep a track of them and you will run for every element, right? Let's suppose that there are some elements, so for each of that particular element, you will be subtracting right of I minus left of I plus one. That will be the size of that particular subarray, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is something that you'll be doing,
Yeah, and the last, I will just
and you'll keep
count
a
that
track of the
array.
maximum. So that's
Yeah, maximum.
let
So
in the
yes,
audience,
sir.
has everyone understood this particular approach? You can just give me a quick plus one in the chat and hit the like button if you have understood this approach, because we'll be winding up this question. Shivang, you can just stop sharing your screen for now, like
Okay, sir.
because we have ran out of time. All if you can just give a quick plus one in the chat if you have understood both the questions and you have also understood about it, about the
Yeah.
problem and the code, right? But Shivang, would you like me to give a feedback for you?
Okay. Share to screen.
No, you don't need to share your screen again. What I'm saying is,
Yeah,
would you like me to
I
give
am
a feedback?
stopping it. Yes, sir. So it was a
Okay.
really nice session to
Okay.
just get a track of how much able to solve question and how the industry specialization ask the question. So I think I have to just improve a lot, and it was a great opportunity to be here and to have a great conversation interaction with you, and I learn a lot of them, and I'm just hoping that I will just getting more opportunity and to improve my skills. And
I
thanks a
hope
lot.
from this session you were able to figure out like what are your like as you like arrays is something that's very basic, right? But still you were stuck with the hash map and things like this. So that is something that I
Uh,
will recommend. That try to code a lot. Like I think that you are not coding much. Like you are just reading out the problems and you are not actually coding them. So try to code them. Try to write more code. So that will create much more consistently. Now I'll like to call Muskan to take over
okay.
from here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yash. So, yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you both. Like, I was there from the start till the end, and even I was solving side by side. So, yeah, like, it was really fun. And I would like to ask Shivang and also thank you for, joining us in this initiative, because not a lot of students have the courage to come on the platform and give the mock interview live. So, thank you so much, Shivang, for doing this. And also,
Yeah.
Yash, if you have some feedback for Shivang.
Yes, so as I told Shivang that I think many of the people here also it's very easy for us to say, right? But the thing is that Shivang, you were good with the logic as well, but you were stuck somewhere. I think that you are out of practice. So try to practice a
Yeah.
lot. Try to practice one or two questions a day so that the code things, the implementation part comes from you a little bit more natural. Like you were thinking a lot, like the hash map part and things like that. The interview will expect you to write it by yourself, right? Within seconds. So
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
something that you will
Obviously, sir.
improve on. And like I will request the interview audience, like we have 111 like audience, the number of viewers are still more and the likes are less. I'll still suggest I'll still request everyone to like this video so
Guys,
that can
don't go without
motivate.
liking the video.
And like I think some people were there, Mahesh and others, so thanks for complimenting. Like that motivates me a lot to bring more such quality content for all of you. And like Muskan, you can take the lead from here.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I could see a lot of comments that, they also want to give the mock interview. So the link is not there in the description, but we will make sure to add the link after this session. Like maybe in 5 to 10 minutes, the link will be there and you can fill it. Also, one more question I would like to address that Jannat has asked, that is mock interview, can anyone give mock interview, or we need to buy a course? So no, absolutely not. You don't need to buy any course for it. So yes, thank you so much, Yash and Shivang, once again, and I will see you in the next mock interview. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, guys, for joining, and we will see you in the Also, one suggestion was given by Erin that we can add a difficulty level indicator. maybe we will definitely look into it. It is a good suggestion. So yes, we will look into it. Bye bye.